At this moment, she noticed a car still parked outside the complex gate. Leaning against the passenger door with a casual posture, Sanyan appeared to be on a call. Hearing the commotion, Sanyan lifted his eyes and made brief eye contact with her. Lily hesitated, her mind flashing to the idea of asking him for help. But after weighing her options, she decided to keep running toward the food street. Just as she was about to pass him, Sanyan hung up and called out, "Lily." She looked up, locking eyes with him again. Noticing her tense expression and the three men trailing behind her, Sanyan remained unnervingly calm. "Come here," he said. This was the first time Sanyan had called her by her name since their reunion. Lily, on edge and overwhelmed, almost thought she was hallucinating. She didn't have time to confirm and instinctively ran a few more steps forward. The next moment, her wrist was seized by Sanyan. He pulled her toward him with firm strength. Lily looked up, his sharp profile dominating her vision. His lips pressed into a hard line as he swung open the car door, his movements brisk and irritated. "What are you standing there for?" he demanded. Out of breath and shaken by fear, Lily climbed into the car without a word, following his actions and instructions. Sanyan shut the door. Through the window, she saw him casually press the lock button. The three men had caught up by now. The tattooed man peered into the car, confirmed there was no one else inside, and sneered. "Hey, handsome, is that your girlfriend? She's quite the looker." Sanyan glanced at him, his tone icy. "None of your business." The tattooed man's mood soured instantly. He stepped forward and shoved Sanyan's shoulder. "What's with that attitude? I wasn't picking a fight, was I?" Sanyan swiftly grabbed the man's arm, squeezing hard before flinging it away, like something filthy. His gaze was devoid of warmth, his tone unnervingly calm. "Leave. Now." The tattooed man smirked, thinking Sanyan was backing down. He pointed toward the car. "All right, I'm not unreasonable. Just have that bitch in your car come out and apologize." Before he could finish, Sanyan abruptly kicked him in the stomach with full force. The impact was so intense that Lily could hear the collision from inside the car. The tattooed man staggered backward, bending over and cursing through gritted teeth. The other two men snapped out of their shock and lunged at Sanyan. Inside the car, Lily frantically dialed the police, her fingers trembling. Sanyan, typically aloof and indifferent, now looked deadly serious, his movements calculated and forceful. Fortunately, the police arrived quickly and broke up the fight. At the police station, Lily stood behind Sanyan, explaining that he was her friend. She couldn't help but feel guilty as she watched him get bandaged up afterward. As they left, she hesitated before softly suggesting, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" Sanyan looked at her, unimpressed. "If you needed help, why didn't you just call me instead of running away?" Lily apologized, feeling the weight of the night's events. Sanyan was in a bad mood and ignored her. "Do you have any injuries?" Lily asked again. Lily felt guilty and uneasy about dragging him into trouble because of her own issues. "Let's go to the hospital. It shouldn't take long, and it won't cost much." Sanyan interrupted her. Lily looked up. "What is it?" Sanyan stared at her, and a peculiar question came out of his mouth. "Was I invisible when I was standing there?" Lily didn't understand. "Huh? Why did you run instead of calling me for help? And you didn't hear me when I called you over?" Sanyan's tone was harsh, filled with sarcasm. "Blind, deaf, mute. Only your legs still work, huh?" Lily didn't take offense to his rudeness. He had saved her and even gotten hurt in the process. No matter what, she felt she owed him. "I did want to ask for your help, but I didn't know if they'd start a fight. I didn't want to drag you into this." Sanyan's gaze deepened as he listened to her explanation. "And," Lily added honestly, "mainly because there were three of them. I didn't think you could fight them." Sanyan laughed in disbelief, silenced by her words. They happened to pass by a pharmacy. Lily stopped, glanced at his face, and then said, "Wait here a moment." Without waiting for Sanyan to respond, she went into the pharmacy and bought some medicine for bruises and injuries. After coming out, she scanned the surroundings and found a quiet bench nearby. The two walked over. "Apply some medicine," Lily handed him the bag and sincerely said, "You can't go out looking like this." San Yan's expression darkened slightly. He stared at her for a moment, then silently tore open the bag of medicine. Lily didn't say anything either. She watched as he rolled up his sleeve and sprayed medicine on the bruises on his arm. The more she watched, the stronger her guilt grew. San Yan applied the medicine roughly, only concerned about getting it done quickly. Lily felt that it didn't make much difference whether he used the medicine or not. Next, he treated his knees and finally his face. That's when it got tricky. Because his face was a blind spot in his field of vision, and there was no mirror around, San Yan could only apply the medicine blindly. His heavy-handed approach, coupled with frequent misses, caused his brow to furrow. Lily couldn't take it anymore. "Let me help you." San Yan glanced at her, hesitated for a moment, and then handed her the medicine. Lily was about to lean closer when he suddenly said, "Don't use this as an excuse to take advantage of me." Lily paused, swallowed her frustration, and said, "Okay, I'll be careful." She picked up a cotton swab soaked in iodine and carefully dabbed it onto the wounds on his face. As soon as she touched his injury, San Yan acted as though she had stabbed him with a needle, letting out a hissing sound. Lily froze immediately. Like he was finding fault on purpose, San Yan grumbled unhappily, "Can you be a bit gentler?" "Lily." She even doubted whether she had actually touched him. In a good-natured tone, she said, "All right, I'll be gentler." The two of them gradually got closer. Lily focused intently on the wounds, her movements exceedingly cautious to avoid displeasing him again. As she worked her way down to the corner of his mouth, she picked up a fresh cotton swab, broke it in half, and gently dabbed the wound. Once she was done, she looked up and met his eyes. The air seemed to freeze for a moment. "You're just applying medicine." San Yan's dark eyes looked at her, his voice slightly hoarse. "Do you have to get this close?" Lily straightened up and apologized. "Sorry, the lighting here isn't great, so I couldn't see clearly." She added, "It's done." There wasn't much else to do after that. San Yan leaned back against a bench and asked casually, "What's the story behind this?" As she tidied up the items on the bench, Lily slowly explained, "I suppose you could call it a grudge. The bulliest guy just now lives next door to me. He often knocks on my door. I reported him to the police before. Maybe that's why he holds a grudge." Hearing this, San Yan's expression turned grim. "You're still planning to stay in that dump tonight?" "I've already found a new place to live. I just haven't had time to move. Tonight, I'll find a random hotel." She paused mid-sentence and corrected herself, "or stay at a friend's house." San Yan didn't reply immediately, but eventually responded with a faint